Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah. This morning I will continue with releasing my video talking on the religion and belief topic, because I think it is important to talk on this subject, because it's related to belief, because our belief will be questioned in the day of judgment. What will be our belief will decide on whether we will attain paradise or we will be sent to hell, because Allah had revealed in the Koran that I'll send down my guidance to mankind. Whoever follow my guidance, no need to feel worry and no need to feel sad. Of course, we are worried when we question ourselves, is life free? So the answer is given in the Quran. It is not free. We have the purpose to live on this world. The purpose is to serve our Creator, and for that there will be a day of judgment. Will be subject to a judgment, whether we have the favor to be led into paradise or we don't have the favor to be led to paradise, so will be sent to hell. So my video is based on reading the Quran and also the Gospel of Barnabas. But nowadays I also like to talk on what's happening in this world at large. So I like to talk on what is happening in this world, which get to our mind. And I got my information from seeing the YouTube and learn from it. And what come to my mind is pandemic COVID-19 that affects us, and not only us, the world at large. Every country is now being affected by pandemic COVID-19, and the vaccine that the country produces is now become the talk of the town. And now it is established that the big hope of mankind to combat this pandemic is to get vaccinated by the vaccine. And there are countries not lucky enough to get the vaccines in time. Some countries are lucky, either they produce the vaccines and the people are believing that vaccine is good for them, or the government is able to control the people and force people to take the vaccine. Some country, though they produce the vaccines, but the people have not welcomed the vaccine so much that some even refuse to be vaccinated, maybe because of the influence of others, like scared of the side effect, things like that influence their mind. But today look different. That everybody seems to believe the goodness of the vaccines, and I even heard people regretted for not taking the vaccine when they are in hospital bedridden. Then they say they regretted in believing the people saying that the vaccine is somehow can be bad because of the side effect, and they had regretted that. In country in Germany, what they do, they will tax people if they got COVID-19 if they have not been vaccinated. For other reason, then they don't want to. Then they'll be guilty of avoiding the vaccine. If they got infected, government will tax them more for being treated in the hospital, so they pay more money than the people who had been vaccinated stay in the hospital, so they pay different rate. So in this way, Germany had been doing well to make the people get vaccinated. But in some country, they just follow the instruction from the government. If government say vaccinate, then they have no choice. They just obey. But some country, surprisingly, the people are not as obedient as some other country. But the one that is unlucky is people want to get vaccinated, but they will have not been supplied the vaccine because there's not enough vaccine to go around. So now the vaccine is a big business. I've seen someone, my friend, told me and showed me information of the vaccine researchers who found or who make the vaccine become rich, become billionaire, because selling the vaccine is good business. So China reaped billions of dollars for selling their vaccine, and other countries as well, US, German, UK, all these countries that have produced vaccine is reaping billions of dollars for selling their vaccine. So it's a big business, but it is also a big investment in doing the research. Of course, the researchers who found a way to make the vaccine also getting billions of dollars. So not surprised that the vaccines mostly originate from big countries with big population like China, Russia, UK, where else? Even now, Taiwan is making own vaccine as well. Surprisingly, I have not heard of vaccine from Japan. That surprise. Japan not making vaccine surprised me. I thought there are many clever people there can produce vaccine, but somehow I have not heard of Japanese produce vaccines, but I've heard Taiwan produce vaccine only recently. China, not surprised because big population, a lot of new universities, many people doing research, and they are also hardworking people. Not surprisingly, they're able to produce the vaccines in China. And there are two types or three types of vaccine that I know. One vaccine is producing based on inactivated virus, that is Sinopharm. Chinese vaccine based on producing vaccine from inactivated virus. The vaccine from UK, Oxford researchers, they produce vaccine from DNA from chimpanzee that they modified, then it produced mRNA indirectly. But there are also countries like US, Pfizer and Moderna is based on producing mRNA directly. So that is the three types of vaccine that I know. mRNA, and the other one is couldn't remember the word. It's like andropropine or something like that. I couldn't get the word right. So the three types of vaccine. This Sinopharm from China is based on the virus itself, but they modified the virus and make the virus not able to duplicate. So what they do, they change the somewhere in the DNA of the virus and remove the code that make the virus able to duplicate, and remove it, then the virus not able to duplicate. So when they inject this virus, then the body responds to give the antibody to attack the virus, the modified virus, but the virus will not do much harm because it's not able to duplicate. But in mRNA, is like, I don't really understand how it works, but the same thing, the body responds to attack the virus mRNA. So the same principle is that the body need to produce antibody to attack the simulated virus. I call it simulated virus. So it's either inactivated virus or mRNA based virus, which is called simulated virus, just to make our body response to produce antibodies. What I know, there is two types of antibodies. Once that vaccine is injected, one that is produced early and one that is produced a little later. One that produced early, like few days after the vaccination, is called IM antibody. One that produced later on is called IG antibody. This IM antibody is not present for a long time, so the number reduced quickly after a few days. But IG antibodies, which is produced later, will not reduce in number but increase in number, and then it stays in the body for a long time. But I don't know, maybe after a few months then it also reduce, because many information I got that the antibody reduce after 6 months, which caused an upsurge of COVID-19 in that country after the person had been vaccinated 6 months after is the case in Israel. So meaning that we have to get dose of vaccine after 6 months, if that is true. But later we'll find out. I think every country will find out whether this is true, that the antibody reduced after 6 months. Then not surprised that we'll get vaccinated again after 6 months to ensure that our antibodies in our body amount is maintained all the time, because it is the antibody that fight against the incursion of the virus into our body, preventing us from getting sick. You see, let's see what virus is doing once it attacks our cell. This is something that I seen in the YouTube. I'd like to share with you so that I remember as well. The virus, the coronavirus, have spikes. They call it protein with spike. And this spike make it easy to penetrate into our cell. So why virus like to attack cell? That is a question I like to answer. Because this virus is hungry and they find food in our shell. So when they eat the food in our shell, then they multiply. And so that virus is like having its own life. So it wants to go into the cell to eat. So it first break the wall of the shell, and with its spike it break. And what antibodies is doing is actually to attack the spike, to cover the spikes, so that it will not be able to penetrate the cell, not able to get the food. So that is what is happening actually. So it's quite easy to understand. First, this virus want to eat actually. So this virus is also having what we term risky. So their risky is being able to go into our cell in our body to eat. So what they do, once they penetrate and then they go into a part in our cell Then what they're doing there to get nutrition, and once they get the nutrition, they multiply, and they multiply. So like they're having their descendant after eating the nutrition. That's why when they multiply and they escape and then able to infect other people, that is what easy to understand, and then they derive why they attack self. Interesting, isn't it? I find this interesting. So the desire to have the descendants and multiply, and for that reason, once it multiply, it escape airborne, and the other people will also get from the airborne virus into their lung. So what happened if they steal the nutrition in our cell? Then our cell will be deprived from nutrition and got destroyed or killed, and we lose the function of the cell. Like if it's the cell of the lung, then our ability to absorb oxygen in the lung will be hampered, and that's why people who got infected by COVID-19 have breathing difficulty and that's why the oxygen is required to sustain their oxygen level in their body. I hope you find that interesting. Okay, brothers and sisters, I'll go back to what the intention of making this video, to read the Koran and the Gospel of Barnabas. So let me recap on reading the Quran, because I cannot remember a few days already. Let me see the page. So this page is telling Allah is forgiving. So if people ask for forgiveness after they had done wrong, Allah may forgive him. For Allah forgiveness is mentioned here, and also is also mentioned, don't try to protect people who have been doing sin, meaning that if Allah to punish them in the next world, do you want to become a protector of them as well. So that is the question that Allah make one to think before one protect the sinners in argument. So that is my recap on reading the Gospel, on reading the Quran. I think on reading the Gospel is about sleep. So in the Gospel, the teaching of Jesus is not happy with people who rest a lot, sleep a lot. Even Prophet Muhammad don't like sleeping very much. At night, Muslims is encouraged to wake up and carry out night prayer. Is called tahajjud. So don't sleep too much. So at night, wake up and do some prayer called tahajjud, which is the practice of many Muslim. Praying at night is compulsory for the prophets, to the prophets of Allah. So Jesus was also praying at night. From the reading of the Gospel is indication that Jesus is also praying at night. Prophet Muhammad is known also to wake up at night and pray. Okay, that complete my recap on reading the Gospel. Now let me read the page in the Quran. So to get the barakah of this morning, let me read the first sentence in Arabic. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. La khayra fi kasirin min najwahum illa man amara bisadaqatin aw ma'rufin aw islahim bainan nas wa man yaf'al dhalika ibtigha'a mardatillah fasawfa nu'tihi ajran azima. Sadaqallahul Azim. So brothers and sisters, let's read the meaning of the sentences. There is no goodness from speaking a lot on the secret, except the speaking of secret is from people who had ordered to spend out the money or asking for doing good or making peace among the people. Whoever doing that because of looking acceptance from Allah, they will get from Allah the benefit of good doing that is big. Whoever is against the Prophet after the truth has been made clear to them and following the way not the way of the Muslim, then Allah will let them gone astray. Then Allah will send them to hell of Jahannam. That is the worst place to be in. Allah will not forgive the sin of associating Allah with others. Allah will forgive other sin than this, whoever He wants to forgive. Whoever associate Allah with something else, then there are people who had gone astray very, very far. Then they worship other than Allah. That is idol. Then they are only worshipping Satan, that is rebellious. That is cursed by Allah. The Satan that has been cursed by Allah, who had said, I will take a portion of your creature. Allah saying to God, I will take a portion of your creature, meaning part of the human being. A portion of the human being will be taken by Satan and dragged by Satan to hell with him. And say, I will deviate them. I will make them to dream empty dream. I will ask them to cut the ear of the animal that they rear. Then I will ask them to change the creation of Allah. Then they change the creation of Allah. Then whoever makes Satan as the protector, then there are people who are lost in reality. Satan is giving the false promise and give and then encourage the empty dream. Satan promise is only the promise of lying to them. And people who had been cheated, then the place is the hell of Jahannam. There is no other place for such people. So it's clear that what Satan is doing to mankind, Satan is trying to deviate us and take us from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a way that they'll take people to hell with them. So that complete my reading of the Quran. So now let me read the Gospel of Barnabas. So lastly we were talking about sleep. Okay, let now read chapter 110. Let's see what it says. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Now tell me, does our God all the time grant you His bounty? Yea, assuredly, for unceasingly He minister to you the breath whereby you live. Very verily I say unto you, every time your body receive breath, your heart ought to say, God be thanked. So breath, I'll just talk about COVID-19, how difficult it is to breathe when a person is infected by COVID-19. So here we are healthy, we breathe easily. It's a gift from God which we should be thankful. Then said John, it is most true that you sighed, O Master, teach us therefore where to attain to this blessed condition. Jesus answered, verily I say to you, you cannot attain to such condition by human powers, but rather by the mercy of our God, our Lord. It's true indeed that man ought to desire the good in order that God may give it to him. Tell me, when you are able, do you take those meat which you would not so much look at? For assuredly, even so I say unto you, that you shall not receive that you will not desire. God is able, if He desire holiness, to make you holy in less time than you twinkling of an eye, but in order that man may be sensible of the gift and the giver of God, which that we should wait and ask. Have you seen that practice shooting at a mark? Usually they shoot many times and vain. Howbeit they never wish to shoot in vain, but are always in hope to hit the mark. And now do you this? You even desire to have our good remembrance when you forget a moment, for God shall give you a grace to attain all that I have said. Fasting and spiritual watching, so united one with order that if you break the watch, straight away the fast is broken. For in sinning a man breaks fast of the soul and forgets God. So is that watching and fasting as regarded the soul are always necessary for us, for all men. For to none is lawful sin, but the fasting of the body and its watching, believe me, they are not possible at all times, nor for all person. For there are sick and aged folk, women with child, men that are put upon diet, children and others that are of weak complexion. For indeed everyone, even as he clothes himself according to his proper measure, so should choose this manner of fasting. For just as the garment of a child are not suitable for a man of 30 years, even so the watching and fasting of one are not suitable for another. So watching. What does it mean? Watching and fasting not compatible. I don't know what it means. But if I can guess, watching and fasting, better not say anything because I may say it wrong. So I'll leave it with you. So the striking thing I've said to you is the breathing. We are able to breathe today, should be thankful for God. Alhamdulillah, we are still breathing today, and for that I leave it you. Thank you for watching.